You have just tapped into the Christian Life Coach Collective, and I'm your host, Laura Malone. I'm here to equip and encourage coaches in skills, business, personal life, and faith. I believe you're already 100% worthy and capable, and you're called for such a time as this. So let's get you walking it out with courage and confidence so you can be an amazing coach who sees transformation and great results in both your life and the lives around you. Let's get started. Okay, this is an exciting day. Coming to you live from New York City, across the street from Rockefeller Center. This is our episode that it goes really deep. It's because it's something that I automatically thought. I was thinking this on default when I started my coaching business, when I became a coach. Let's say actually before I started a business, when I became a coach, I thought that this myth was true, that if I was great at what I did, clients were going to find me. I did not understand the amount of work that I would have to do to find clients or help clients find me. I had no idea. So we're diving into this topic because I know a lot of you are navigating it right now, and you need somebody to tell you the truth. That if you build it, they will not come immediately without you telling them that you built it. And first of all, I think the movie doesn't even say that. I think it says, if you build it, he will come. But whatever. I know that we wish it worked that way, right? Today, we're going to debunk that again. That's what we're doing in this series. We're going to explore why coaching is different than running a business. And that absolutely requires marketing. And then we're going to break it down into some simple, actionable strategies to actually find the clients that you're very passionate about serving as a coach. But you need to be able to step into life as a business owner. So the first thing you need to know, I've said it in a lot of other podcast episodes, marketing is not a curse word. It is not the devil. It's not slimy. It's not scary. Marketing is simply sharing. It's sharing who you are and how you can help people. If you never tell anyone, how are they going to know? They're out there and they need you, but if you don't put in the effort to help them find you, then all of those divine appointments that you're looking for are never going to come. How would you ever have found your favorite stores or your coffee shops or places to travel if they never did something to market themselves, make themselves visible, and tell you that they exist? They weren't manipulating you by sharing about themselves. They were just doing you a service, but to let you know they are there. They are a possibility. I have a lot of clients who, just like me when I started out, don't know what they don't know. So they're like an artist who wants to paint, but doesn't realize that to make a living doing art, you'll have to sell it. Therefore, people need to find out that you paint. If no one knows you paint, and if no one knows you paint well, and if no one knows that you paint things they love looking at, and if no one knows that your art is not only beautiful, but it's also for sale and it could be theirs to hang in their living room, then you never become an artist that people know about and buy art from, which in turns, that means you have to have a different full-time job to support the hobby of painting. You can have a craft and an art form in any area of your life. And if you don't do what a business does so that you can make money doing that thing, it's a hobby, which is totally okay. You can have a hobby of coaching people and just do it one-off. You can just be mentoring people and not charging anybody for things. You can do what is right for you to do. But there is a difference between having a hobby doing something and having a business doing it. And I know that for some of you, you're thinking, well, mine is my ministry. So is mine. And my ministry is a marketplace ministry And I'm in the full-time vocation of ministry. And yeah, I do it in my nonprofit work the missions organization that I run, but I also do it in my business on the daily. That is my ministry, is where God called me. And if you were to run a nonprofit or a ministry is set up as a nonprofit, okay? They both still require the entire Sokoka system. The system of 6 processes you must have in place to function, grow, scale, and succeed. It doesn't matter how you set up as an LLC, a sole proprietor, anything that's for profit, or as a 501c3 or something that is nonprofit oriented or ministry oriented. And I use that term ministry and really lightly because you still have to share about what you do, make an offer for somebody to pay for it. You still have to convert them from somebody who's listening or looking or watching to somebody who wants to buy something. And then you have to onboard them so that they can make a way to pay you. Then you actually have to offer whatever it is you offer. As a coach, you're coaching people that you actually have to have the process of coaching in place. Your last one is to assess it all. You must assess all of these processes for effectiveness and efficiency. That is the system of processes. It's what I teach in the Call to Coach course. So if you have missing links in there, you're going to miss the opportunity to grow and scale your business. The more money you make doing what you feel called to do, the less time you have to spend making money elsewhere to pay your bills. Everything that brings in money only does so because people find out about it and decide they want it, then choose to invest in it so that it can be theirs. So that is just business, and a coaching business is no different. If you want to have a business, you're committing to not just becoming good at what you offer as a coach, but learning how to tell people about it. So if you started your coaching business but need those processes in place, I invite you to check out the Call to Coach course. You can grab the link in the show notes for this episode or go to sterlingandstonecoaching.com. I teach the Sokoka system so that you can set up to grow your business. And I will tell you that this course is for you only if you're really ready to invest in doing the real work you need to do to be a business owner that's fully taking responsibility for your business and what it requires of you and taking action. And let's face it, that, being great at what you do, whether you're a life coach, business coach, leadership coach, whatever niche you're in, it doesn't automatically mean clients are going to flock to your door. There's a pervasive myth that just because you've got the skills, people will know it and they're going to come to you. And you might be used to that a little bit because if friends and family members and coworkers have always come to you for help, maybe you think people will just find me and they'll know I'm a coach. But it's different when you're running a business and you've got to actually tell people what you offer and how you can help them, and you want to start charging for what you do, not just doing it for free every Sunday after church for 4 hours and wondering where the time went. Marketing is key. So visibility is your first step to connection with the right people. If people can't find you, then they cannot hire you. And building a coaching business requires putting yourself out there, communicating your value. It's not about being loud or obnoxious. It's about getting your message in front of the right people. And I say this a lot in the early stages of coaching business because so many coaches believe that if I just build, create the thing and wait, clients are magically going to appear. That's simply not the case, though. So if you are a talented coach and you start your business, you're very passionate, you're very excited, you put up a website that you work too hard on, spent too much money on, you work really hard racking your brain for what do I do? How do I build an Instagram account? I make all these social media posts, and then all you hear is crickets and no clients. And then you sit back and think, I'm really a great coach. Why don't people want me? And then after a little while, it turns into like, I thought I was a great coach, but people aren't coming to me. And then it turns into, I must not be a very good coach because no one's coming to me. The thing is that visibility and outreach, they are key to you. Without consistently marketing, networking, and getting in front of not just anybody, but really you have to start getting in front of the right people. Then the talent and skill and wisdom and experience, everything that you carry, it doesn't get the chance to shine, right? So you're not engaging in marketing strategies that work for your target audience, your ideal client, that avatar, ICA, that you need to build. You need to do the work of getting out there and researching and finding out what your ideal client wants and needs. If you rely too much on your products of your coaching offer, your service, if you rely on it selling itself, that doesn't actually happen because nobody sees it for it to be sold, right? What you can do instead, the good news, is there are simple and actionable things that you can do to get visible and start attracting the right clients. First, and I say this in the Sokoka system, this is the part of share. Create content. Start talking about anything and everything that you care about. Start recording everything you would want somebody to know. Simplify it by imagining one person who's a sponge for wisdom and knowledge, and talk like you have this person in front of you whose entire focus is to learn what you have to share, who is thirsty for your experience and your story. They want everything you're willing to pour into them. Make this your ideal client avatar. I call this person Solomon because King Solomon only desired wisdom over riches and power. So imagine somebody who pursues everything you know and are willing to pour into them, and then start recording all of that, either verbally into a note on your phone or a voice recorder app, or writing it all out on, on your computer, wherever you would do things. I know you might want to write in pen and paper. I'm not going to tell you not to, but I will say it's going to take more work later. So the goal is to create a bank of content that's going to benefit you down the road and help you have all of the things already created for a blog or podcast or YouTube channel when you're ready. So it's going to become pieces of what you share, even in public speaking opportunities. The good news is that when you first start doing this, nobody's reading or listening, and you can give yourself time to learn. It's a good time to experiment and grow. You're going to have a season where all you're doing is crappy, rough drafts, and that's just how it goes. It's how it's supposed to be. Don't beat yourself up about what you're putting out there. There's no police. It also gives you the opportunity to see what rises up when you do this. Things like the fear of rejection or criticism, stuff that kills creativity. But it's all in your head. Nobody's actually out there waiting for you to say something so they could smash it. So try not to sabotage yourself and say that you can't create content because somebody might disagree with you, right? This is just real life, and you're invited to it. This is entrepreneurship. It's kingdom life. We don't shrink back for fear of the world because who is in us is greater than he who is in the world. Next thing is create a marketing plan that's going to work for you. You have to get intentional about how you market your coaching business. So don't just post on social media for the sake of posting. If you don't have an account for your coaching yet, I suggest starting a new one. Put it under your name. Mine is Coach Laura Malone. And put it in the place, first of all, you are most likely to show up consistently. And second of all, where you think your ideal client hangs out. You probably know I don't do much on social media, but my podcast is my organic marketing tool. So I'm saying this to those of you who like social media and one day you're going to start a long form content platform like podcasting. But right now, what you need to get doing is social media because you haven't launched something like a podcast, blog, or YouTube channel for people so that you can be visible. But you can be visible right now today on social media to some degree. And again, you're just taking imperfect action here. You're not looking for perfection out of the gate. Begin to create valuable content that speaks to your audience and just think about their struggles, how you can provide solutions. Networking, this is vital. You don't wait for people to find you. You have to go out and meet them. It might be in person, it might be online, but you have to get connected. Speaking engagements, if you would be comfortable with doing that, that's amazing too. Sharing your message in front of a live audience is one of the best ways to build authority and find clients. So offer to speak to businesses, church groups, schools, anywhere and everywhere. Learn how to do it. Remember, you're in an experiment phase when you first start. And then from there, you're growing and scaling. Then start leveraging testimonials and referrals. First, word of mouth is one of the strongest marketing tools you have. So ask friends and family to share what you do with other people they know. Ask your current clients, or even if it's free or low cost that you've been offering, or just people at work, people at church, ask them to share a testimonial. They don't have to have been like a client who paid you $500 for you to get a testimonial from them. People will trust recommendations from those who've walked the path before. So as you build your client base, encourage your satisfied clients. And I'm not saying like you coached cousin Jane and she was like, what? I don't get this. Like, it didn't do anything for me. Don't ask cousin Jane. Okay. Look for somebody who actually feels like the work they did with you is valuable. And all of this is only going to strengthen your reputation and help to bring in a more steady stream of potential clients and making yourself visible in front of them. And a secret weapon is just storytelling. One of the most powerful tools you can have is storytelling. And people connect with stories. It's how we relate to each other. It's how we learn better. It's how we build trust. So you can just create content that shares your journey, your struggles, your successes, your why. And then when you open up and let your audience see who you are and see your heart, they're far more likely to resonate with you and want to work with you. So start putting all of that into your content you're creating, see what it turns into. I want to encourage you here because I know it feels daunting. But if you get a first draft out, then you're going to have something to work with so you can refine it and make it better. But you can make everything better later. If you never start with less than best, you never have the ability to refine. So whether it's a story about yourself or a guide, a how-to guide about something you think your ICA needs, a checklist you think might be helpful, a video tutorial of you doing something people will want to learn, all of it requires experimentation. Do it once, then refine and do it again. And after a while, you're going to learn how to do it quicker and better, but you have to pioneer this road. If you like for things to be perfect the first time without hard work, I'm going to say that entrepreneurship probably isn't for you. I would say coaching will always be a challenge as well because it's such a transformational journey and it allows for imperfection. You might want to consider either looking for a different path to take, finding a coach for yourself to help you work through the desire or need you have for things to be perfect the first time. And especially if you were looking for, I want it done right the first time and I don't want to work hard for it. Or you simply have to do the work until feeling uncomfortable with imperfect action feels more comfortable, it's more normal, and you can be more emotionally regulated while you do it, which inspires you to do it more consistently, and that's key. Practice makes progress, friend. So I'm going to say this too. Don't take this as a discouragement because for some people who want to coach but not to run a business, this can work. Another option is to coach for somebody else. Work for a company who hires a coach. Let them do the work of bringing clients to you or paying you to coach their employees. You can get practice doing it by offering coaching to your church or a local nonprofit you can volunteer for. If you can coach people in a job or a role that you used to be in, so you have experience, you could probably offer your services to companies who employ people like this, the people who operate in the roles that you used to operate in. Then you wouldn't have to build your own business. You could just coach. You don't have to go find anybody. You don't have to create content. But if you want the freedom of working for yourself and you're going to actually, well, you're just going to have to do the work for yourself, right? Nobody works for you. So you work for you. You will be the only one doing it all for a while until you get to a place where you can hire people to do things for you. You wear all the hats, you wear all the shoes. And while it is a lot to do just to get a client so you can coach, which you feel like that's what you were made to do, it's all going to work together for good with Coach Jesus at your side, right? He's going to help you out. Ask him which way to go. Let Holy Spirit guide you. When you run your own business, you begin to see how all the things that you judged about all your bosses, all the people you worked for in areas you really knew nothing about because they were the ones pioneering and building and working so hard, doing all the things you never knew like existed until you became a business owner and an entrepreneur yourself. It's like becoming an artist who becomes a gallery owner that showcases and sells art. You can be an artist. You can be an artist who does the work to sell your art. Or you can be an entrepreneur who loves art and wants to serve the world by putting art on their walls. Each one has a different fruit produced by what you put into it. So you need to figure out, which fruit do you want? Do you just want to coach, but would rather work for someone so you don't have to find clients and run the business side? Or do you want to coach clients who find you because they learn from you and believe that you're the best coach for them, so they choose you instead of an employer or a company choosing you and telling people that you're their coach? This, when you work for yourself, you allow people to find you and choose you because they believe you're the right coach. I personally have loved my journey of learning to coach, learning to create content and how to tell other people that I can help them, learning how to build and grow my business on my own terms at my own pace, learning how to make it better for me, work better for my clients, and operating in freedom the whole time. So now I'm more like the gallery owner because I want to support the artists in their growth and the exposure and their profit, but I also get to help the world know what's possible by promoting the artist and sharing what they offer, because I ended up with my clients are mostly coaches on the business side, right? So I found a way to create a business that allows me to coach and do business while I support, equip, and promote coaches who are doing exactly what I believe in. That happened because I started my own business and I worked for myself and I evolved and pivoted several times so it could become what I wanted it to be. So I hope this has been a little bit of a wake-up call for you. If you've been sitting back and like kind of breaking things down and your soul's like, oh no, what do I do? Because you've been waiting for clients to magically appear. Remember that building a coaching business doesn't happen by accident. It actually requires intentional work, intentional marketing, intentional visibility, which means you have to pursue connection and purposefully communicate what is inside of you. You aren't just a coach, you're a business owner now, and that requires a completely different skill set and mindset. I'm happy to teach you about all of that in the Call to Coach course when you're ready. And you can do this. I want to tell you, it is possible. I did it on my own, figuring it out by myself without anybody to tell me how to do it. So if I can do it with no resources, just by getting curious, doing my research, figuring it out, trying things, experimenting, being willing to show up and try again, you can do it. You need to market to find and attract clients. Content, visibility, networking, storytelling, leveraging word of mouth and referrals. All of these things are crucial pieces of your puzzle. So if you haven't already, I want you to start mapping out your content creation and marketing plans, and don't wait for it to magically happen. Start being the creator of this story. Get visible, build relationships, and tell people, ILC, IHP. I'm a life coach and I help people. All right. We'll talk to you in the next episode where we're going after the next myth of you don't have to do it all alone.
Thanks for listening. For more coaching resources and to learn how to work with me, head to sterlingandstonementoring.com or click the link in the show notes. Remember, walk boldly in your calling, and I'll talk to you next time.